Easy sleep English. Relax and learn. What if one man on a horse conquered half the world? His army was unstoppable. His empire was the largest in history. From Korea to Poland, from Siberia to Vietnam, the Mongol Empire. But here's the puzzle. This mighty empire built a dynasty in China, the Yuan Dynasty. It had the best army, the biggest land, the most wealth. Yet, it fell apart in just 98 years. Why? How did the greatest empire become so weak so fast? Tonight, we'll find out. Get comfortable. Take a deep breath. Let's travel back 800 years to the grasslands of Mongolia. Our story begins with a boy named Temujin. He was born around 1162 on the Mongolian grassland. His father was a tribal chief. Life was good. But when Temujin was 9 years old, his father was killed, poisoned by an enemy tribe. Everything changed. His tribe abandoned his family. They had no food, no protection. Temujin, his mother, and his brothers had to survive alone. They ate roots, they caught fish, they almost starved. One day, enemy soldiers captured Temujin. They put a wooden board around his neck, like a prisoner. But young Temujin escaped. In the dark of night, this hard life made him strong. Very strong. He learned one important lesson: trust no one. Only power keeps you safe. Temujin grew up. He became a warrior. He was smart. He was brave. He was ruthless. Slowly, he gathered followers, men who believed in him. He made alliances. He defeated enemies, one tribe after another. In 1202, he won a great battle against his former friend Jamuka. In 1204, he destroyed the powerful Naiman tribe. Now, no one on the grassland could challenge him. In 1206, all the Mongol tribes came together. They held a great meeting by the Onan River. The tribal leaders made a decision. They gave Temujin a new name, Genghis Khan. It means universal ruler, or ruler of the ocean. The Mongol Empire was born. Genghis Khan was not just a warrior. He was also a builder. He created laws, the first written laws for Mongols. He organized his people into groups of thousands. He built the most powerful army the world had ever seen. The Mongol cavalry, fast, deadly, unstoppable. Genghis Khan looked beyond the grassland. He saw rich kingdoms to the south and west. He wanted them all. In 1211, he attacked the Jin Dynasty in northern China. The Jin had ruled for over 100 years. They had big cities, strong walls. But the Mongol army broke through everything. City after city fell. The Jin emperor had to run away. Then Genghis Khan turned west. In 1219, he attacked the Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia. Why? Because they killed his merchants. A big mistake. Genghis Khan showed no mercy. His army destroyed great cities: Samarkand, Bukhara, Urgench. Millions of people died. The Mongols reached the Caspian Sea, then the Black Sea. They were unstoppable. But in 1227, while fighting in western China, Genghis Khan got sick. He died at around 65 years old. Before he died, he gave 2 orders. First, work with the Song dynasty. Destroy the Jin together. Second, my third son, Ojidi, will be the next Khan. Genghis Khan never saw his dream completed, but he built the foundation. The Mongol Empire would keep growing. In 1229, Ojide became the second great Khan. He continued his father's work. First, he finished the war against the Jin dynasty. In 1234, the Jin dynasty fell. Northern China belonged to the Mongols. But Ojide wanted more. He sent armies west, into Europe. His nephew Batu led this great campaign. The Mongols conquered Russia, Poland, Hungary. They reached the Danube River. Europe was terrified. They called the Mongols the Devil's Horsemen. No European army could stop them. But then, Ojide died in 1241. The Mongol princes had to go back to choose a new Khan. Europe was saved. By luck, Ojide did something else important. He hired a wise man named Yelu Chukai. Yelu Chukai was not Mongol. He was Khitan. He understood Chinese culture. He told Ojide, "You can conquer land on horseback, but you cannot rule from horseback. You need laws, taxes, government." Ojide listened. The Mongols began to learn how to rule, not just fight. After Ojide died, trouble began. His wife wanted their son Goyuk to be Khan, but not everyone agreed. For 5 years, there was no real leader. Finally, in 1246, Goyuk became Khan, but he died after only 2 years. Now a new family wanted power. The family of Tolui, Genghis Khan's youngest son. Tolui's wife was a very smart woman named Sorghai Tani. She had 4 sons. All of them would become great leaders. In 1251, her oldest son Monk became the great Khan. The power moved from Ojide's family to Tolui's family. Monk was a strong ruler. He wanted to finish what Genghis Khan started. He sent his brother Hulagu west to conquer Persia and Arabia, and he led an army south to destroy the southern Song dynasty. But in 1259, something went wrong. Monk attacked a small fortress in China called Diaoyu City. The Song defenders fought hard, very hard. A stone from a catapult hit Monk. He was badly hurt. He died. The great conquest stopped, and a bigger problem appeared. Monkey's death caused a crisis. 2 of his brothers wanted to be Khan. Kublai, who was fighting in China, Arik Bok, who was in Mongolia. They both claimed the throne. Kublai was different from other Mongols. He liked Chinese culture. He had Chinese advisors. He wanted to rule like a Chinese emperor. Arik Bok was traditional. He wanted to stay on the grassland, rule the old Mongol way. In 1260, both brothers held their own ceremonies. Both became Great Khan. At the same time, civil war began. Kublai was smarter. He controlled the rich farmland. He had more food, more money, more soldiers. Arik Bok's supporters slowly left him. In 1264, Arik Bok surrendered. Kublai won. But this war broke the Mongol Empire. The other Mongol kingdoms, the Golden Horde, the Chagatai Khanate, the Ilkhanate, stopped listening to Kublai. They went their own way. The great Mongol Empire split apart. From now on, Kublai would focus on China. Kublai moved his capital from the grassland to China. In 1267, he began building a new city, Dadu. Today we call it Beijing. It was a magnificent city, the greatest in the world. Tall walls, beautiful palaces, wide streets. A European traveler named Marco Polo visited. He wrote, "Dadu is the most splendid city in the world." In 1271, Kublai did something no Mongol ruler had done before. He gave his dynasty a Chinese name, Yuan. The word came from the ancient Book of Changes. It means origin, or great beginning. The Yuan Dynasty was born. Kublai was no longer just a Mongol Khan. He was a Chinese emperor. He wore Chinese robes. He followed Chinese customs. He built temples. He supported scholars. But he never forgot. He was Mongol. One enemy remained, the southern Song dynasty. They had held off the Mongols for decades. They had the Yangtze River. They had strong cities. But they also had problems: bad emperor, corrupt officials. In 1268, Kublai's general Bayan attacked Shenyang. This city guarded the middle Yangtze River. The siege lasted 5 years. 5 years. Finally, in 1273, Shenyang fell. The Song's defense line collapsed. Bayan's army sailed down the Yangtze. City after city surrendered. In 1276, the Song capital Linen fell. The little emperor, only 5 years old, surrendered, but some Song loyalists refused to give up. They took 2 young princes south. They kept fighting for 3 more years. In 1279, the last battle happened at Yashin. It was a sea battle near the coast of Guangdong. The Song navy lost badly. Minister Lu Shifu carried the 8-year-old emperor on his back. He jumped into the sea. They both drowned. Thousands of Song soldiers and officials followed them. They chose death over surrender. This is the famous Battle of Yashin. The Song dynasty ended. China was united under the Yuan Dynasty. The Yuan Dynasty was now the largest empire in Chinese history. From the Sea of Japan to Central Asia, from Siberia to the South China Sea, Kublai needed a new system to rule this huge land. He created the province system. China was divided into 10 provinces. Each province had a governor who reported to the capital. This system worked so well that China still uses it today. Kublai also cared about the economy. He repaired the Grand Canal. He encouraged farming. He promoted trade on the Silk Road. Merchants from everywhere came to China. Arabs, Persians, Europeans. Marco Polo worked for Kublai Khan for 17 years. He traveled all over China. When he returned to Europe, he wrote a famous book. He told Europeans about China's riches: paper money, coal, pasta, spices. Europeans were amazed, but there were dark sides too. Kublai created a system called the 4 classes. He divided all people into 4 groups. First class Mongols. They had the most power. Second class, Semu people. These were Central Asians, Persians, Arabs. They helped the Mongols rule. Third class, Han people. These were northern Chinese and other groups like Khitan and Jurchen. Fourth class, southern people. These were the former Song dynasty people. The lowest class. This was not fair. A Mongol who killed a Han person got a small punishment. A Han person who killed a Mongol. Death. Mongols could become high officials easily. Han and southern people had to work much harder. For many years, there was no civil service exam. Talented Chinese people had no way to rise. This made many people angry, very angry. But for now, the empire was strong. People stayed quiet. Kublai Khan was a great ruler, but he made mistakes. He tried to conquer Japan twice. In 1274, he sent a huge fleet. A typhoon destroyed many ships. The invasion failed. In 1281, he tried again. An even bigger fleet. Another typhoon. Another disaster. The Japanese called these storms kamikaze, the divine wind. Kublai also attacked Vietnam and Java. All failed. These wars cost a fortune. To pay for them, Kublai printed more and more paper money. Too much paper money. Prices went up. Things became expensive. People suffered. In 1294, Kublai Khan died. He was 79 years old. He had ruled for 34 years. He built the Yuan Dynasty. He united China. But he also left problems behind. Problems that would destroy his dynasty. After Kublai died, things fell apart. From 1294 to 1333, only 39 years, there were 10 emperors. Think about that. 10 emperors in 39 years. Some ruled for just a few months. How did this happen? Mongol princes fought each other. They killed each other. They used poison. They used swords. Everyone wanted the throne. No one cared about the people. The government became corrupt. Officials stole money. Laws were not enforced. The army became weak. Soldiers only cared about their pay. In 1333, the last emperor came to power. His name was Togon Temur. we call him Emperor Shun. Shun means obedient, but it was meant as an insult, because later he obeyed the Ming Dynasty. He ran away. At first, Emperor Shun tried to fix things. He had a good minister named Toktoa. Toktoa fought corruption. He reduced taxes. He even organized historians to write official histories. But the Mongol nobles didn't like reform. They liked their comfortable life. Toktoa was removed from power. Nothing changed. Then nature struck. In 1344, the Yellow River flooded. It was terrible. One of the worst floods in history. The river changed its course. Millions of people lost their homes. Farms were destroyed. People starved, but the government did little to help. In 1350, drought came. Then locusts, insects that eat all the crops. No rain, no food. People ate grass, tree bark. Some ate each other. And then, the plague, the Black Death. It had traveled from Central Asia. Millions died. Entire villages disappeared. The people looked at their suffering. They asked, "Why is heaven punishing us?" They blamed the Yuan Dynasty. "The Mongols have lost heaven's favor," they said. "It is time for them to go." In 1351, the government made a big mistake. They wanted to fix the Yellow River. They forced 150,000 peasants to work. The workers had no food. The officials stole their wages. They worked all day. They died in the mud. The peasants were angry. So angry, a secret religious group called the White Lotus Society saw their chance. Their leaders, Han Shantong and Lu Futong, spread a message. A stone man with one eye will start a rebellion against the Yuan. They secretly buried a one-eyed stone statue in the riverbed. When workers dug it up, they believed it was a sign from heaven. The rebellion began. The rebels wrapped red cloth around their heads. They became known as the Red Turbans. The fire spread across China. Farmers joined. Poor people joined. Even some soldiers joined. In the north, Lu Futong built an army of hundreds of thousands. In the south, more rebels appeared. Guo Zixing in Anhui, Chen Yuliang in Hubei, Zhang Shiqing in Jiangsu. The Yuan dynasty was falling apart. Among all these rebels, one man stood out. His name was Zhu Yuanzhang. He had the worst beginning possible. He was born to a poor farmer family. When he was 16, his parents died. From plague and starvation. He had no money. He became a monk, then a beggar. But he was smart and lucky. In 1352, he joined Guo Zixing's Red Turban army. He fought bravely. He rose quickly. He married Guo Zixing's adopted daughter. When Guo Zixing died, Zhu Yuanzhang took over. He was different from other rebel leaders. He didn't just fight, he planned. His advisor Zhu Sheng gave him famous advice: build high walls, store much grain, become king slowly. Zhu Yuanzhang followed this advice. He captured cities. He treated people well. He attracted talented generals. Xu Da, Chang Yuchun. He attracted wise advisors. Lu Baoan, Li Shancheng. His army grew stronger every year. Zhu Yuanzhang had many enemies. Not just the Yuan dynasty. Other rebel leaders wanted power too. Chen Yuliang was the strongest. He controlled the middle Yangtze River. He had a huge navy. In 1363, the two armies met at Poyang Lake. It was one of the biggest naval battles in history. Chen Yuliang had bigger ships. But Zhu Yuanzhang was smarter. He used fire ships. He attacked when the wind was right. After 3 days of fighting, Chen Yuliang was hit by an arrow. He died. His army fell apart. Zhu Yuanzhang won. Then he turned to Zhang Shiqing in the east. In 1367, Zhang Shiqing's capital Suzhou fell. Jiang Shiqing killed himself. Now Zhu Yuanzhang controlled all of southern China. Only the Yuan Dynasty remained. In late 1367, Zhu Yuanzhang made his move. He sent his best general, Xu Da, north with a great army. The Yuan Dynasty was too weak to resist. Their soldiers ran away. Their generals fought each other instead of the enemy. In January 1368, Zhu Yuanzhang declared himself emperor. He called his dynasty Ming, meaning bright. He set his capital at Nanjing. The Ming dynasty was born. In August 1368, Xu Da's army reached Dadu, the Yuan capital. Emperor Shun didn't even try to fight. He packed his treasures. He took his family. He escaped through the northern gate. He fled back to Mongolia. The Mongols called this the Northern Yan. They kept their old title, but they never came back. The Yuan dynasty had fallen after 98 years. So, why did this mighty empire collapse? Let me count the reasons. First, the succession problem. Mongols never had clear rules about who becomes Khan. Princes fought. Brothers killed brothers. 10 emperors in 39 years. How can you rule like that? Second, the four-class system. They treated Chinese people badly. Chinese people were 90% of the population. You cannot rule by making 90% of the people angry. Third, money problems. Too many wars. Too much spending. They printed too much paper money. Prices went up 1,000 times. People couldn't afford rice. Fourth, natural disasters. Floods, droughts, locusts, plague. The government didn't help. People thought heaven had abandoned the Mongols. Fifth, military weakness. The army became lazy, corrupt. Mongol nobles didn't want to fight anymore. When the rebellion came, they couldn't stop it. So what's the lesson? The Yuan dynasty had the biggest army, the biggest land, the most wealth. But they forgot the most important thing: the people. Without the people's support, no empire can last. This is true for all dynasties. This is true for all governments. Even today. Okay, friends. It's time to rest now. You've traveled a long journey tonight. From the grasslands of Mongolia to the palaces of Beijing, from the rise of Genghis Khan to the fall of the Yuan. Empires rise, empires fall, but the stories remain. Let them stay with you tonight. Close your eyes now. Breathe slowly. The world is quiet. Sweet dreams. See you next time.